Now we're going to move on to the Windows operating system, and we're going to start off with resetting a password and restoring it.
Alright, here we are in our Windows box. As you can see, there's a password set. And shut it down and boot up Backtrack. Now, if you don't have it to boot from CD, or if it doesn't ask you to, you have to go in your BIOS and change the bootloader to boot from CD first. Starting up Backtrack. Alright, in Windows, all the password information is stored in the config folder. In that folder, there's a SAM file. This is the Security Accounts Manager. This stores all the password and usernames and the hashes for the passwords. Also in that folder, there's a syskey system file which adds an extra layer of security. Alright, now that you know where everything's at, what you need to do is, because Linux, when you type in mount, you can see that a hard drive is mounted as only read. Because this isn't a Linux format, NTFS isn't, we need to unmount our drive, and then we're going to have to remount it as a read-writable mount. This is the command to mount a drive that's either in like FAT or FAT32. We're not going to be using this one because we have an NTFS formatted drive. But as you can see, it's just mount -O, rewrite the drive that you want to mount and where you want to mount it. The command that we're going to use, because we have an NTFS format, is NTFS mount the device and our mount location. Now that that's done, you can see that the device has been mounted properly, and we're going to navigate to that config folder. First, what we're going to do while we're in there, we're going to back up those files, so in case you mess something up, and of course so you can reset the password back to the original password, we're going to make backup files for each one of those. First we're going to make the SAM backup, and then we'll make the system backup. Alright, now that we have those backed up, we're going to use the change NT password program that comes with Backtrack, the -I, which is the interactive mode, and then we're going to give it the location of the SAM file, the system file, which has the syskey, and the security file. Now that that's loaded, we're just going to choose one, which is edit user data and password. And now we have to choose a username. We're just going to choose the administrator by default. Alright, now it's going to ask you to set the password for that user. Here it says that an asterisk sets a blank password, and we're going to use that because we've tried setting passwords and it doesn't always work. So we found that the asterisk for the blank password is the most reliable. And then we're going to use exclamation point to exit out, Q to quit, and then save all the changes, yes. This part's really important. You got to make sure you reboot the system. We had, on more than one occasion, we forgot to do it properly, so all the drives weren't unmounted properly, and it corrupts the files, and we just go through all kinds of problems. And so just make sure that you do that. Here we are at our Windows login. As you can see, no password logs us in. Do what you need to do. Get in there. Peruse the files. Alright, now we're going to boot back into Backtrack, and we're going to reset that password with those backed up files that we had saved. Of course, we need to go ahead and unmount that drive again and remount it as a read-writable drive. Same commands as before. As you can see, it's all mounted, rewrite, right there. Now we're going to navigate to the config folder again, where we saved those backup files. We're going to go ahead and remove the SAM and the system file that stored that blank administrative password, and we're going to rename those backup files that have the original password stored in them to the SAM and system. As you can see, it's all restored properly. And again, you're going to have to reboot this properly. If you don't reboot it properly, your files are going to get corrupted and you have to repair those files. So Windows gives you a folder that has all the original files in it. Everything's in there to go ahead and repair your system, and then you can try cracking it again. Just make sure you reboot it. As you can see, the password has been restored.